What's going on, family? Back with another video, of course, right? Don't get comfortable in generational curses. Don't get comfortable in generational curses. What do I mean when I say this? Well, first, let me express to y'all what I call a generational curse. Because do I think that there's curses and things like that as a God-fearing individual, outside of like Deuteronomy and things like that, right? As far as obeying God, following God, and so forth, they mention curses in that. Outside of that, I don't believe in like this black magic thing. You know what I mean? Now, there's some agreements that families have made with like demonic entities, but once you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior and things like that, you are forgiven for the sins of your father. You understand what I'm saying? So, what I call a generational curse, this is the lack of knowledge, the lack of awareness, the ignorance, right? The information that your parents failed to gather and raise you with, or raise your parents with, right? It gets handed down and passed down and passed down and passed down. For example, you know, in other families, everyone goes to the military or some way, shape, or form, and they all benefit from the benefits of said thing. That's generational. It's generational. In other families, it could be generational to mismanage and be bad with money. Since it is a negative thing, we call it a generational curse, right? Or everyone in this family overeats, bad with food, gluttonous. And as a child, before you even gain your awareness, they're already overfeeding you. Now you struggle with obesity before you even make it to high school. Generational curse, right? So on the opposite, we would call that like a generational blessing, right? Where it's like you're born into wealth, you guys are all athletes, so forth, right? You got good credit before you even graduate high school and things like that. So the things that seem to, all the negative things that seem to continue getting running in your family and getting passed down, that's what I call generational curse. So not an actual curse, right? But we're just saying that because it's just like it seems to just be prevalent. Like for example, your grandparents drunk a lot of alcohol. Your parents drunk a lot of alcohol, and now you deal with your problems by drinking a lot of alcohol. Generational curse, right? No one cursed you. This is just your. This is the way your family has raised one another to cope and deal with things, right? So it's more about how you've been raised, what you've been exposed to, what you're conditioned to, what you're familiar with, not some black magic voodoo or demonic curse, right? Your family can fight similar demons, right? This enemy can the enemy can say, I got their grandparents with this, great parents, grandparents with this, and I've battled their family with this for years and years and years and years. Let's just keep it on the surface level and just say, hey, this is what you're familiar with, this is what you've been raised around. So this is what you picked up during your season of panic, anxiety, fear, challenge. This is how you cope. So when I say don't get comfortable in generational curses, it's me pleading with you to be aware of what is generational, what has been handed down, what is common in your family, what is familiar in your family. And because awareness is the first level to overcome this. Awareness is the first level to overcome this. Because once you're aware, now you can identify, match things up. Say, you know what, dang, my mom does that. You know what, dang, my dad does that. Dang, you know what, my granddad did that. And then you follow it back and be like, man, this has been something that has been just in our family forever. I have to break this, or I'm going to raise my children with the same thing. They're going to see me doing this, right? Because I can't instill in them what I haven't gained discipline to do within myself. Like they say, like if you're single, like for single moms who maybe your daughter sees you dating a lot of men, right? So she thinks that it's okay. If a lot of men are interested in me, I can, right? Like this is what it's that similar, that sort of thing, that sort of behavior. Children pick up on a lot of things. Children pick up on even like complaining and da 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 da, like talking bad on other people, gossiping. A lot of these things, there's so many things that are actually generational that we overlook. That we overlook. We overlook it. You know, even going to church. Oftentimes, you might believe in God, but your children might fall further from that belief because they didn't really see you make this a big priority in your life. And you were like, well, they know I believe in, but it's like, no, they weren't really raised with that. So, but now I'm getting off in the segue. So awareness, the awareness. Now I heard this quote the other day, and it says, "Oh, the people." They said, "Oh, fear of failure. People who are successful, people think that they just don't struggle with this fear." They said, "No, in reality, they're actually more afraid of poverty, more afraid of failing than you are, and that's why they go so hard. That's why people be so stingy. That's why people are so wrapped up in this thing because they struggle with that same thing, you know." So it's like when I say comfortable, sometimes we get comfortable in what we are familiar with because we are afraid of what it looks like on the other side. Sometimes we self sabotage our success, our growth, because we are actually comfortable with this. We have picked our poison, what some would say. Even like right now with the election and stuff like that, people say, oh, the lesser of two evils. Pick the lesser of two evils, right? In life, when it comes to trying to figure out how, well, what you should do and so forth, we all say, pick your poison. And you're more likely to go with the thing that you're already familiar with than to venture off into foreign territory to see, or how does this feel, or how does this work, or so forth. Most people stay where they are. That's why most people never leave from the town that they were born in, right? We tend to stick to what we are familiar with. Therefore, ergo, don't be comfortable in your generational curses. So after you identify it and you gain the awareness, now it's like, okay, are you comfortable with this, or are you uncomfortable enough to fight this and grow and develop and change it? And if not for yourself, do it for your children. If not for yourself, do it for your children. Because if not, what you do is you save it for them to have to deal with. You save it for them to have to deal with. The best thing you could do is kind of remove, if every generation removes as many generational curses as possible, then the next can remove as many as possible. Then the next can remove as many as possible. To the point where now we're just getting, oh my God, my freaking Red Bull just tilted. I take that off for sure. But yeah, if we're able to do that, then we're able to develop, and then we're only going to hand down generational blessings. It's going to be a blessing to be in this family. Other families are going to be like, what do they do? How do they do this? They're so lucky, they're so fortunate, they're so blessed. And that just comes from just every individual looking to push the family forward and not take it back. push the family forward and not take it back. You know what I mean? So I ask you, what are you doing to push the family forward and not take the family back? What are you doing? I love you guys. I got to do a little bit of grocery shopping, and I got to see because I just spilled my drink. So hopefully it's not too bad. I love you guys. Talk to you guys in the next video.